Welcome to the Foreign Lawyer Profile Series. I am immigration attorney Parviz Malakouti, and today I'm very excited to be interviewing a foreign lawyer. Her name is Yuliana Colorado. She is French Colombian, and Yuliana is living the life that a lot of lawyers wish that they could live, traveling around and working on different international cases.
Yes.
Ask her all about that. I'm going to ask her about how one becomes licensed in France, how one becomes licensed in Spain, and what she does. So welcome, Yuliana.
Thank you very much for having me here. And I'm very excited about this interview and sharing my experience.
Absolutely. Thank you. So first of all, before we get to those questions about practicing in different jurisdictions, just tell me a little bit about yourself, Yuliana. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Okay, so I'm originally from Colombia. I was born in Medellin, and at the age of 14, I immigrated to France, like your clients, with a tourism visa. And so we decided to make our lives there in France. So I started when I was 14. So actually I grew up with the other French. So high school and university, all of that was in France.
Fantastic. As you know, I've been to Medellin. I love Medellin. So when you came to France, did you start in Paris or another city?
In Paris itself, yes.
Paris. Okay, great.
So I started high school I took the scientific option, so I wasn't supposed to do law. And I think it's a bit different from America. I don't know, but you have like literary option, economics and scientific. And I was supposed to be a software engineer or something like that, but actually maths were too abstract for me. So I decided to do something with my second passion, which was languages. Since I learned, my original language is Spanish, and then I learned French. And then I got a passion for languages. Then I learned Italian also, and a bit of English. So
I think more than a bit of English. Great. So where did you go after you graduated high school?
Yes, so I went to the university called Université de Paris 10 Nanterre, which is one of the universities who proposes the possibility to do both licenses, a double license. Okay. It's a Spanish license and French license at the same time, a degree. So after the third year, I went to Spain for the fourth year, and then I was admitted to the Madrid bar.
Wow.
So that was the process. I made like double work, but it was worth it because I was admitted to the Madrid bar then. I think that the process changed in a few years after I finished there. The process changed, the procedure to become a lawyer. But when I was there, you just had to finish the fourth year in law.
Okay, so I guess we'll get right into it then. So first of all, did you have to take an entrance or a licensing examination to be admitted to the Madrid bar?
No, but let's say that actually at the time it was like only 30% had the fourth year. It was not a real exam, but the exams were so difficult that there was like a selection of people.
Okay, got it. And that was at Paris 5 Nanterre. That's what you said, right?
No, that was, well, I made 3 years in Paris, Nanterre, and then I went to Carlos III de Madrid, in Madrid itself, in Spain. Okay. My fourth year, yes.
Oh, great. And having left Colombia at 14, did you find that getting back into legal Spanish was a little bit of an issue for you, or was it not a problem at all?
No, it was an advantage for me because my other friends were French. Actually, they had to deal with all the vocabulary in Spanish. For me, it was easier, of course, because I'm Colombian.
Very nice, nice. So why did you want to do a dual degrees to be licensed in France and Spain as well?
As I said before, I love languages, and so my idea was to be able to be in different countries. Okay. And that explains actually what happened next in my career is that I discovered international private law. It was for me like an international, like yes, the link between all the the nationalities like that, and I was able to explore different cultures with this subject. I actually discovered that during my 4th year in Madrid. And I decided to take a whole master on international private law. I did that in Assas.
Okay.
Yes. So this was my first master too, which is like the 5th degree in law in France. And then what was funny is that I took an option, which was international arbitration. And it's curious because I really didn't know about it, about international arbitration during 5 years. I discovered international arbitration during my 5th year. Wow. And I was like, wow, this is like the most international law I can do is this one.
Right.
And so I decided to take a second master degree, which is not usual. You usually do one in France.
Right.
And there you did that with not with me, but with the same teachers yourself. It's the
right.
International, yes, the Massey.
The Massey, yes, exactly. So for those of the viewers who haven't seen my other video, how to become a lawyer in France. So generally the way it works, right, is that the first degree is three years, or it's 3, right? 3, and then master 1 is 1 year, master 2 is 1 year, correct?
Yes, and so what I did is that I discovered international private law. I made 1/5 year, and then the second 5th year. So
second 5th year, right? Exactly. Yeah. So and then of course your master 2 at University of Versailles. Obviously, how we met each other. Yes. You, I believe, were a year ahead of me in that, and I was an exchange student the year after you graduated. I, of course, graduated from the University of Miami School of Law, and there's a lot of camaraderie among the classes from the Massey. Did you think when you graduated from the Massey that you were going to work in international arbitration?
Absolutely. I was very convinced of working in of the fact that I was going to work in international arbitration. I was passionate about it, and I have to say that the theory of international arbitration interests me a lot. Okay. And the practice is what I really couldn't like find myself with. The thing is that it's not what you think. I think that 10% of the theory, you apply 10% of the theory, and the rest of it is due diligence, so, but my first years of my career, I was actually practicing international arbitration and international commerce.
Okay, very nice. Nice. So I guess you decided in your internship that going forward, international arbitration wasn't for you?
No, in my first internship, I was in Curtis Mallet Prévost, which is, I believe, an American firm. Okay. And then after this internship, I was in Veolia also, but I don't remember if it was before and after. Anyway, after that, I was admitted to a law firm in which normally I didn't have to do international arbitration. But there was this case that actually came, and we took it, and it was a big arbitration with a lot of stakes, and I was very happy to participate in this. It was a very, very good experience, and I loved it. But after 4 years doing that, I decided that I had to think more about the path I was going to give to my career and to my personal life, because as you might know, it's very challenging for an attorney working hours, late hours like that. Of course. So yes, it was something crazy. Sometimes we spend the night in the law firm, and it was very tiring. So after that, I decided to travel for 1 year.
Wow. Where'd you go?
I went to a lot of countries in South America and as in the southeast of Asia.
Okay.
And 6 months South America. I went to Argentina, Chile, Costa Rica, Colombia. Of course, I wanted to to find my country again and to reconcile with my country, which was very violent at the time I left.
Right.
In the 90s. And then I came back a few months, and it was I was very happy to do that. After I went to Bali, I went to New Zealand. It was really something that changed me deeply. Yes, and it changed me and my view on the profession of lawyer, of being a lawyer, because you work so hard for like, I don't know, it was 6 years for me or more. And then you realize that the practice of law was not what you learned during college years. I don't know. And then I decided, like, I was thinking, what do I do? I don't know if I have skills in other matters. So I wanted to start my own company, but I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And then I met a lot of remote workers. Mm-hmm. And then that was when I got the idea of being like a digital lawyer.
That's perfect. So let's use that as a segue to get right into digital lawyers and basically remote work as a lawyer. Because if there's any lawyer watching this right now, for sure, they're probably thinking or dreaming or trying to work towards having flexibility to be able to move between cities. So first of all, you have a blog called Digital Lawyer, right?
Yes, I started this and I wrote a few articles. I need to do it a lot more because I have a lot of things to say about it, but yes.
Okay, great. So what's the purpose of Digital Lawyer?
Okay, this blog would be like, for now, it would be the interview of lawyers like me, and I found some. For example, I found someone in China that works remotely. Okay. I found one, I have to do the interview of this one who is living in Valencia, in Spain. Okay. And the thing is that the bar doesn't admit really this type of work. Mm-hmm. For now, it's too new. Right. They don't know how to deal with this.
Right.
So you really need to be linked to your bar and to not to pretend, because actually you go to, for me, for example, I'm right now in Spain, but I go every month to Paris and I'm traveling. So, but I would like really that in the future, the Paris bar gives us this possibility to really work like that, because I think digital nomads are the future, actually. Well, for some professions, not all
right.
of them.
Right.
Yes.
I would even say they're already the present in a large sense. So they are the present and future, because there are increasingly more lawyers that are traveling and working. I'm not remote to the extent you are, but I certainly travel. I'm based in LA right now. I'm talking to you from Las Vegas. So you're absolutely right. The bars have to, and I imagine that they will adjust to accommodate this new type of style. So first of all, you said you're in Spain. You got a beautiful background behind you. You're in Valencia right now, right?
Yes, I am in Valencia. Right now it's dark, but the weather is so beautiful here. You have the beach. And for me, I've traveled, as I said before, I travel a lot. Right. And for me, this city is like, it's the perfect city for everything I need. It's like there is the sea, there is the good weather, it's next to Paris, and it's so beautiful city. I didn't know that it was that beautiful. So yeah, I'm very happy being here.
Wow, that's
for
amazing.
Now. And then I said to myself, why not learning maybe Portuguese afterwards next year? Why not? So that's the beauty of it. Okay. Last year I was in Colombia for 4 months because I wanted to try this digital lawyer method. I wanted to know if it was possible, and yes, it's possible. It's challenging, but it is possible.
Perfect. So what are the top challenges in being a digital lawyer, a remote lawyer?
Okay, so when I started that, it was after I returned from my world tour, and I started being associate in a firm, so it was easier because I had my fees, it was settled every month. I had my fees, and it was easier in that sense. Okay, so what I had to adjust was the hours, because in Colombia it was, there is the jet lag. So I worked with France, but I had to actually, I woke up at 5 a.m. and I started working at 5:30, so that I had like the clients and the attorney I work with, we could be on the same level,
Right.
So I thought that it was really passionate, because it was a lot of freedom. I was in Colombia. I didn't have to to be here in winter, which is very, very challenging for me. And I was with my family, and at the same time I was performing well. I was doing my, the only thing I can't do is litigation. Of course, I can't go to the tribunal, but in France you have this system that allows you to take what we call a postulant, which is another attorney that you can actually mandate for the mission. So it is totally doable. And that was what I wanted to test.
Nice. And so obviously the test worked fine, right?
The test worked fine. And the second challenge was, can I do it without being an associate? Okay. So after that, I had a very big opportunity. I went to Colombia because I wanted to do this, and also I wanted to create an Airbnb, but this didn't work.
Okay.
So I came back, and I had a few days before I came back, I had this amazing opportunity of joining as a partner in a law firm called Square.
Okay.
And the partner who called me was Damian Goss. He told me about this project, and I was like, oh my God, I fit in. Really, it's a firm which reunites all the lawyers like me and other lawyers that want to be really flexible, because Damian himself was working from London and from Paris, and he wanted to create this structure that actually is like him, or is, yes, it fits him.
Right.
Yes, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
So he told me, are you in? And I was like, yes, of course. And that's what is challenging right now, is to find the clients, because I'm not an associate anymore.
Right.
But I still want to find clients in France, but being in Spain, and that is what is challenging.
Right. Okay. So let me ask you. So you said that you moved away from international arbitration. What did you move towards? What do you practice now?
Okay. So like you, I do work in what I call mobility and immigration law. This is this came very natural to me, because I speak Spanish. So in France, all the Spanish people come to me and ask me questions about visa and immigration aspects of their lives. But this is one of the aspects I do on the side. But mainly I work in commercial law. I still work on commercial law and contracts, and one of my favorite topics is labor law. So these topics I can work from anywhere.
Okay, so maybe you're going to get a client from this video. So what's the ideal type of client? What's the ideal client that you help, that you deal with?
All the clients are ideal, but it is true that the client that is aware of the fact that we can't communicate via webcam, or that he doesn't need to see me and to on live, it's better. It's better if you understand. Yes, in person. But actually, the question doesn't, for now, I've been working with several clients and the question doesn't come. They just call me and they tell me I need this and this. And I ask them, okay, please give me the documents by email, and I analyze them. I write my statement of demand, for example, or something like that. And this is working pretty well until now. So
that's great. So you speak English very well, Spanish, of course, French, Italian, very, very impressive. What language do you speak to most of your clients in?
In Spanish.
Spanish.
Well, okay. Yes, in Spanish and French, both.
Okay.
But
Spanish.
Yes, the ones that I had that I actually can find by myself are Colombian, Latin Americans, Spanish, and I have a lot of problems or a lot of issues in labor law, in immigration, and commercial law, everything.
Right. So, first of all, and then how did you learn English?
I went to London for 1 year.
Okay.
Yes, I might have forgotten that. After Madrid, I went to London for 1 year, and then in international arbitration, you need to speak English. So yes, and during my world tour, your main language is English. So that's the
How was your English before you went to London for a year?
Sorry.
How was your English before you went to London?
Dramatic.
Okay.
Very bad, very bad. Okay. But now it's better, I think.
Okay, very nice. So are there any, to your knowledge, when you basically got licensed in Spain, were there any educational requirements to become licensed there? Formal language requirements.
Language requirements in Spain?
Yes, in Spain.
No, I think they are like in France. No. If you want to do a career in international law, you might be. Actually, that's a requirement from the firms, but not from the university. No.
Okay.
You need to take an option in languages, but it's not a requirement.
Okay.
Not
so
that
you just have to be able to show that you can do the coursework, basically. Is that what you're saying?
In Spain. In
Spain, right. So for example, when you did your last year of your licence there, you didn't have to take any Spanish language test.
Sorry, I didn't understand your question before. Okay, so I spoke Spanish, right. But I had another friend who was French and had, of course, to be fluent in Spanish. That was challenging for him. So of course, if you want to have the Spanish bar, you have to learn Spanish, of course.
Okay, but that's yes. But there's not actually. Is there actually a Spanish test, or is it just that they give you the regular?
No, they give you the regular exams, and you have to be able to express yourself in the language.
Got you. Okay. Part of the reason that I'm always curious about that is because when I went to the University of Versailles, there was no test in the beginning for me to test my French language. I just went in, and it's either, as we say in English, sink or swim. And so.
But you did swim, so.
barely keeping above the surface. Okay. Anyway, so that's very interesting. I told you, Yuliana, I wanted to ask you about one funny or peculiar thing about the practice of law in either Spain or France. What's something that would be strange for an American lawyer or a foreign lawyer to hear?
Well, from an American lawyer, maybe the fact that we use a dress before the tribunals.
Right.
So
yes.
when we go to litigate, and this is very funny for me because at the beginning, when I started my career, litigation was a problem because I was quite shy.
Okay.
So when I started litigating, I put my dress and I was like, oh, this is a character. This is like I'm in a movie or I'm in the theater, and that changed a lot. So that will be like the peculiar thing for me.
Okay, yeah, that's funny. So in my interview of Michel Nassar on how to become a lawyer in France, I commented to him that I love the robe. I think it looks so cool. And I think it's the same element you're talking about, which is it has a dramatic feel and look to it, you know?
Yes.
So what do you do for marketing, being a digital lawyer, to get the clients? You said that that's kind of a big challenge now. What do you do to get your name out there?
Okay, so that is one of the peculiarities also in France. It's a new thing since 2016, is that you can have a commercial, which was forbidden before, a commercial activity if it is linked to your profession.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things I did was that my mother started a business related to the Spanish immigration and something like that.
Okay.
And every time she needs a lawyer, she comes to me. Okay. So she does administrative tasks, and every time she needs a lawyer, she comes to me. And so we approve that with the bar, so it's okay. But also one of the activities I am looking in is real estate, because are you here? Yes. So because we can be a real estate agent, we can be sport agent, we can have a lot of annexes activities. So right. I'm digging into it, but as I said before, this independence is quite new for me. I'm not an associate since October, so this is new. So let's see how it comes.
Got it. So just to be clear, anybody who's interested in who has an immigration issue related to immigration to Europe, to France, to Spain, etc., they can contact for help, right?
Yes, of course. And I'm here in Spain. I'm in France each month. So mainly these two countries, but we also have in the firm, we also have people in London and in Brussels.
Okay, very nice. I'm curious, being a digital lawyer and being able to do what we call geo arbitrage, which of course means living in one place, but potentially having your money source, your income source come from another place. Has it been beneficial to be able to live in maybe a cheaper place, but be able to have clients that come from first world countries that pay higher legal fees?
I think that this is very beneficial, in that this is one of the main aspects. I convinced my previous lawyer, the lawyer I work with, this was one argument to convince him.
Okay.
The fact that my fees are a bit cheaper in France, so it's an argument for all the clients and for the attorney.
Right.
But at the same time, I was able to be like a queen in Medellin. Really, I was, the change, and so it was very beneficial for me. Nice. And in Spain, also, I live in conditions really in Paris is impossible, because Paris is so expensive. So really, I think that this method has enabled me to travel and to have a quality of life, a better quality of life.
Fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. What's one piece of advice you'd give to a lawyer who wants to go remote and be a digital lawyer?
Okay, so start step by step. You can't just decide, okay, I'm a digital lawyer like that. No, because you need preparation. You need find your partners in the place you want to work from. Okay. So in my case, I found some partners, which are some lawyers I work with. They give me sometimes work, and this is like my base. Okay. And from this, I can add my own clients. So and I can do marketing and find my own clients, but tastefully, So I wouldn't rush. I would do it step by step. And then this can be a bit. The fact of being a digital lawyer is also, you can be by yourself, a little bit lonely. So what I do is that I go to a co-working space.
Okay.
And for example, in Madrid, there is now a co-working space dedicated to lawyers. That is very good.
Okay.
In Paris too. And in Valencia right now, I go to a co-working space, and this is good to meet people, local people. So
Right.
you are not alone all the time. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So before we head to the last part of the interview, which is the lightning round of questions, people can find you at is it digitallawyer.com?
I can give you the link afterwards, but if you tape digital lawyer with one L, you can find me. Yes, on Google.
Okay, got it. Great. Are you ready, Yuliana, to go to the final part of the interview, the lightning round of questions?
The funny one. Okay. Yes.
Great. So first question: dogs or cats?
Definitely dogs.
Okay, me too. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. I'm Colombian.
Okay. Netflix or cinema?
Oh, that was a tough one, but I will go with cinema because I'm in love with cinema. Yes.
Croissant or bagel?
Croissant.
Croissant. Okay, of course.
I'm also French now. 20 years French. In France. Yes.
Exactly. Okay, favorite country to visit? You can't cheat, so you can't pick Spain, France, or Colombia. So
no, I was thinking about Colombia because you need to go to Colombia and you know it.
I did, and I love Colombia.
Yes. Okay. So if I have to choose another one, I would say New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Okay. Yes, it's beautiful. Okay. Yes.
I've never been. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? That is a tough one. I would say I don't know the English name. In French, it's called the Labyrinthe de Pan, but it's not my favorite movie. But each time I see it, it's like wow, it's perfect. It's science fiction and also a real story at the same time, and I like this combination of both. But I love classic cinema. I don't know, for example, Blue Velvet from David Lynch or Paris, Texas. Those were movies that actually hit me. So okay. I don't know. Yes.
Final question, and the most important question of the whole interview: iPhone or Android?
Oh my God. That's the most important. It's Android. Yes, okay. I tested iPhone and no, I need more freedom.
Okay. And interesting. So just to follow up on that, do you think, obviously being a digital lawyer and being remote, technology is super important. Do you think an Android for you is more accommodating for, being a digital lawyer?
No, I don't think so. I think if I had an iPhone, I would do it the same.
The same.
For me, one of the best tools I use is really Acrobat, professional Acrobat, and because it allows me to stamp all the sheets, and I have several systems now to do everything perfect, like if I was in France.
Nice.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, well, that does it for the interview. If people want to reach out to you for whatever reason, whether it be for help or to ask you about being a digital lawyer, can they do so?
Of course. Very welcome. I want to actually collect all the data about it, and so I will be very glad to help people and also to interview more people who are in the same situation.
Fantastic. So anybody out there who wants to be a digital lawyer, contact Yuliana. Go to digitallawyer.com. We'll also put her email address in the video description below.
Thank you so much, Parviz.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.